Hello, I'm Dr. Sam Hancock of the Emerald Planet and Emerald Planet TV. We come to you on a week-to-week basis from Washington, D.C. in the United States as we look around the globe in 144 different nations, looking for those 1,000 best practices, the technology, services, and products that are making a difference as we move through the 21st century. And as we have a planet of 9 billion people by 2038 and possibly 12 to 13 billion by the end of this century, how are we going to be able to take care of all these people on planet Earth? And that's what Emerald Planet's all about. We come to you looking at the solutions, the best practices from around the globe as we create the Emerald Planet. Hello, welcome to the Emerald Planet. We're making a difference as we move through the 21st century. And seeing the long-term impacts of climate change. We're glad to have you. Thank you for being with us.
Looking at the country of Nigeria and its capital city, Abuja, one of the things that they're attempting to do is to replant the trees that once graced most of Nigeria and to allow the city and the nation to start using trees to remove the carbon that's been emitted into the atmosphere. And we have the Rotary Club of Abuja Ministers Hill that's taking the leadership for this tree planting effort. We have with us Rotarian George Hembah. He's the president of the Rotary Club of Abuja Ministers Hill. And also he's the CEO of Hissing Consulting Limited. George, welcome to the Emerald Planet TV.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sam. I'm happy to be with you.
Looking at tree planting, this is something that Rotary clubs are doing all across the world and, of course, within Nigeria itself. Why is tree planting by Rotary International and its local clubs so important?
Well, Rotary Club is into 6 areas of focus, and that's basic education and literacy, peace and conflict resolution, empowerment, youth empowerment and development, maternal and child health, and disease prevention and control. Tree planting is very important because it covers 3 out of the 6 areas of focus. Why does it cover that? Why is that important? Again, is because it's going to take care of the needs of food. It's going to take care of medicines, because out of the production, when trees are being planted, you have the plants can also produce medicine. It can also produce some local foods in different regions, especially here in Nigeria. So in the area of disease prevention and control, it takes care of that. That's the medical side, the medicinal side of it. In the area of maternal and child health, it also takes care of still medicine. In the area of empowerment, it takes care of future income. So there are some certain trees that will bring about income to the community at large.
Now, looking at the planting, looks like it's something that's very precise. We're actually measuring it, but you're involving young people in the tree planting. Why is it, one, important to have young people involved in tree planting? And secondly, why does this become a group process?
Well, we're involving young people so that they inculcate the attitude of understanding the need for climate change and why it's important to have trees, because with trees, it creates shelter. As I said earlier, it also creates the medicinal value. So young people are part of it to understand from the scratch why it's important and interesting for them to get involved right from the youth. Just like I said, another area of focus in Rotary has to do with basic education and literacy. So that covers the area of tree planting, because people get to understand the educational aspect And one of the educational aspects is when they are being trained to understand the need for funds that will be generated, soil fertility,
and also
medicine,
protecting the environment itself.
and also protecting the environment at large. Yes.
Now, looking at these children and with their trees, it seems like over time, I've been involved in this actually since I was their age myself, about 8 years of
Oh,
age.
really?
And the whole thing about when you plant a tree, you almost become connected to the tree and the soil where it's planted. How does this change attitudes about the nature and about greenery when these youth actually plant their own trees?
It educates a child planting a tree in so many aspects. They learn to nurture the tree, and then they also learn to observe the process of its growth from its sprouting and its growth to a full-blown tree. And then it also connects them, it connects a child to understand or makes a child a little bit more responsible for the tree. So right from the nurturing stage, he begins to learn to be responsible, that he's responsible for the plants that he has planted and nurturing it. And he begins to feel a sense of belonging by being part of what is the growing process. And it also shows a progression as the tree is also progressing. They feel a sense of fulfillment as a child, and it boosts as a person their personal morale.
Yeah, it's really important. It's amazing the number of youth you're getting involved through the schools and being sponsored through the Rotary Club. What other organizations besides Rotary are working with the youth and involved with the tree planting process?
Well, aside Rotary, one of the organizations we partnered with is the Abuja Environmental Protection Board. The Environmental Protection Board is in charge of evacuation of waste, and at the same time, they are also is an agency that is also in charge of, aside evacuation of waste, they are also in charge of tree planting and environmental protected materials. And tree planting is one of the environmental progressions. So you have the Environmental Protection Board, you have some other local agencies that are also involved in tree planting. Some time ago, they had to even stop the issue of falling trees. That's some other agencies. But the most important body in Nigeria, in Abuja to be precise, is the Environmental Protection Board.
That's absolutely fantastic. Well, it's obvious that there's a different variety of trees, and which trees are very important to the future of Nigeria, both from environmental protection aspects, but also income for local citizens, and also as raw materials for production of needed building materials and other types of construction needs in Nigeria.
Well, one of the trees that we planted because we had to be strategic is the name Moringa oleifera. Now, Moringa oleifera is a drought-resistant form of tree. The beautiful thing about Moringa oleifera is that it's fast-growing. It's a fast-growing tree, and it can be reached at a certain height. And then it has a lot of nutritional benefits. So this tree, the Moringa oleifera, happens to be one of the economic trees. And it's important to plant economic trees because all economic trees has benefits. For example, the Moringa oleifera that we planted has in the health area, it covers things like vitamin C, vitamin B, and also vitamin K. So, and then the Moringa oleifera also helps in the preparation of the soil, which is very important for any other tree to be planted.
So this is really a very important species as far as Nigeria is
Yes, it's a
concerned.
very important species of tree.
Mhm.
Yes.
Now, looking at planting the
Yes.
trees and preparing the soil, is there any special techniques that are needed as far as getting the soil ready to plant the trees so that they'll have a greater success of surviving and growth?
Well, there are. One of the steps is to ensure that in tree planting, the first most important thing is preparing the soil. If the soil is well prepared, then you could plant any form of tree and be rest assured that it will grow well. Another thing that is important is the protection of the tree from intruders, from kids, such as kids, or any form of intruders, even some beasts and pests. So we ensure that aside the preparation of the soil, the environment where the trees are being planted are well protected by fencing. And in fencing, of course, you have different types of fencing, from the chain link fencing to the bamboo fencing. But it's to ensure that the place is well protected. And then, of course, the general maintenance by bringing in the manpower of farmers to make sure that to ensure that the tree is planted and then pruned from weeds so that it grows properly. So those are the measures that have been put in place to see to it that it's well taken care of.
That's absolutely incredible. Well, again, going to youth being involved, and we're just about running out of time, George, so we have to be quick. Tell us what you've
Oh,
seen over the years of the tree planting as far as the youth and their actual affinity and love for their trees.
well, there's a lot they are seeing. There's one, as I said, the economic benefits. So at the end of the day, when the trees grows to full maturity, there's a lot of economic benefits. For example, like the Moringa oleifera, as I mentioned earlier, that was one of the trees that was being planted. They could sell the leaves. So they are growing and nurturing it with the hope of selling it. They're
I
also
see.
seeing the possibility of, yes, home production. In terms of food, because there are some kind of local foods that are being uh, consumed here in Nigeria from such kind of plant.
This is Rotarian George Hembah, President of Rotary Club of Abuja, Ministers Hill. Thank you for being with us as we create the Emerald Planet.